have the record button? There you go.
Yeah, I totally could have. Totally
okay, Jason, do it again.
That? I'm turning it
yes.
I did my morning daily ritual of counting the hairs on my head, and I'm up to 12. So I was so excited that happened, and
you need that Bugs Bunny thing,
the Barber of Seville.
Yes, my favorite Looney Tunes episode.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys in a minute. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Three Geeks podcast. We are here, we are live, and we are so excited to spend a few hours with you guys. Today, we brought a friend along with us, Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob. Mick, how are you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me back, guys.
Absolutely, man. Mick and I talk pretty much every day, and it's nice to actually be able to look at him as we talk because we haven't done a whole lot of shows together this year, but we're going to fix that right now with everybody out there. So Justin, Mike, Dan, and presumably Max will be with us soon. I don't know where he's at. I saw him in person the other day. We went to a restaurant and they had bacon that was like this thick on a slab. It was sriracha bacon. It was heavenly. Like you cut it and it's as juicy as a steak would be. So good. It was like it was an appetizer by itself. Like it was just that one piece of really thick bacon. Highly recommend if you're ever in Columbus, Beer 101 or 101 Beer, whatever they call it. But I want to ask you guys, is waking up with the headache the worst way to wake up in the morning?
I imagine there's worse things, but I can't think of many off the top of my head.
Theoretically, no.
I'm like,
now if you wake up in a back alley naked and not knowing why you're there,
that's fair.
Yeah, this morning I woke up with my back hurting, but that's pretty regular occurrence. But then I had the headache, and the headache just makes you want to say "fuck this day" and just close your eyes and go back to bed.
Clearly, you've never had kidney stones.
You go to sleep upset with that one though too. Like you're in bad time all the time.
Gentlemen.
Absolutely. Hey, Max.
What's up, Max?
You ever just had one of those fucking days?
Yeah, what we were just talking about. Having one of those days.
Fuck, man. Like, home ownership is not for me. Okay, like I'm just not cut out to be a homeowner. I can't do the maintenance and shit required to fucking own a home. Like, this is. I'm like, all right. The wife says she's going to church. I'm like, okay, I will make myself useful. I'm going to power wash the deck like I'm supposed to, like I've been saying I was going to do for fucking 3 days now, right? No biggie. New power washer. We just bought this thing like a month and a half ago. I plug everything in, and fucking water is pouring out of everywhere. And
you got to tighten it up, my man.
Yep. And I'm like, okay, we got this. It's fine. Like, I unplug every fucking thing, screw it all back in, make sure everything's together. Still water coming out of everywhere. I'm like, well, maybe it'll still work. You know, maybe I can just power wash the deck, get freaking soaking wet. That's fine. You know, like we'll get it done. No pressure coming out of the hose. Fucking, I'm about to lose my goddamn mind.
I got to say though, man, you are a homeowner in the age of YouTube, so that gives you a little bit of an advantage.
Okay, but all of the knowledge on the internet can't help me. Okay, I'm not capable of doing the things that they tell me to do.
The confidence this year.
There's just something. Listen, I owned a home, and it sucked. I did not like it. I do not recommend. After we sold our house, we're renting. And every year we're like, maybe it's time to buy a home again. Maybe we'll buy a new house. But we rent like a really nice house in a nice area. We did our due diligence, and I'll tell you, it's so much nicer not having to replace and fix things.
I honestly, I know that Justin, you're a homeowner, and like the idea of owning a home is nice because you're paying and you own this, like it's yours. But as somebody who's been renting for the last couple of years, it's so nice when something breaks, you just call a guy and say, hey, can you come over here and fix it? And you don't have to pay any money. Or can you drop off some new blinds from my apartment because my old blinds have gone to shit because of the cat? Yeah,
you're also lighting your money on fire, though, right? I mean, Max described like an annoying power washing incident, but his net worth of his house has probably gone up by, I don't know, 25% in the past year. You know what I mean?
I will tell you.
But JT, calling the maintenance guy is fine if your maintenance guy is at all competent. See,
my maintenance guy
I'm a fucking idiot. So okay,
it sucks when you call somebody and like I'm the guy who answers.
Yeah, like okay,
still know nothing, still completely useless.
So you know this thing works? I don't.
Really short story. Okay, I went to the office to see if they could get my bathroom linoleum under the trim, right? And so they sent this dude who ripped off the trim, just shoved the linoleum under and just laid it on top and left.
Wow.
Because that's how that fucking works.
That's exactly what you asked for.
And I'm like, dude, what'd you do? And he's like, I don't know.
I attached my peel and stick flooring underneath.
I always felt bad for the guys that came to my dad's house to fix things or to put things together for him. Like he hired some guy to do the floor, and my dad knows how to do it all himself. He's just getting older, so he has other people do it for him. This guy came in and did their floor, put in hardwood floors, and they were just like very small holes between the floorboards and so forth, and like bad cuttery or whatever. My dad got that guy fired. My dad got that guy fired from his job. Another guy came out. He got the whole job done for free.
Wow.
I mean, like, and then I'm just like, good God, I can't.
All I'll say is all the annoyances and stuff. Like financially speaking, you're much better off owning a home than not.
Oh, absolutely.
I only disagree because I've done both, and I have way more money than when I owned a home.
You have more money in your bank account, not more money in terms of net worth. There is a difference.
Theoretically, though.
No, that's actually not true. Because I have more money in my bank account, I invest more.
But your interest rate is probably not going to be as stable as a property.
But
if you're going to sell it now,
market goes up and down, man.
That's very fair, but when that bubble bursts,
go ahead,
stock market
on crossfire.
No kidding.
What were you saying, Dan?
Go ahead, Dan.
if you're going to sell it now, you're going to spend like all that extra money getting a new house, unless you're going van life. So van
life.
Well, at the same time, you're also locking in a payment and an interest rate, 30-year mortgage in terms of like there's 1,000.
Something tells me Justin follows a lot of real estate agents.
I'm in banking. I will tell you, owning a home is much better off for you financially than not.
Yeah, especially when you're like if you're paying the same price. Like every month, like that's the only thing that gets me. If you're renting or owning, you're paying the same price in rent as you would on a mortgage. Like you should probably have the mortgage.
You're just not going to have a power wash deck.
Like fuck the power washer. Okay, I wish I would have just said fuck the deck today.
The argument here, and I'm not saying they're wrong. Owning a home is a completely different world, and I get it. I completely understand it. It's yours. You own it, and there's a pride there that you should have. Now, your arguments, Justin, your arguments, Max, are based on the fact that you own homes, and that's fully understandable. But that bubble's going to burst one day, and you can't base it. You can't base, all right, I have this investment in my home based on that, because things are going to fluctuate. And
same with any investment you're ever going to have. Any asset you're going to have has the opportunity to go down.
Except for
on the other hand,
you're not printing more land.
I like how this is like an East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah.
The renters are all like, "Yay, renting! We have a guy we can call."
No, I'm not saying rent or own. Do whatever you want. Is my basic argument for the whole thing. But
on the other hand, is your rent ever going to go down?
Actually, my rent. I've been here for 4 years.
Yeah.
This is my 4th year in this home, and my rent has never gone up.
Really?
It really depends.
So that wasn't the question.
Due diligence. We worked with the person.
But the question was, does it ever go down?
And he put a new roof on the place. We got new garage doors this year.
That's right, George.
You got to do your work.
George.
Yeah.
And we covered the passionate topic.
3 geeks. 3 financial bucks.
It is.
This is the best.
But this is the main point. Towards my fucking shit day is that I can come here and I'm like a knowledgeable fucking person in this. You know, it's like I can come here and be with my people and feel useful and valuable.
Well, that went to shit real quick.
Okay, sorry.
Let's talk about something less.
I love you
controversial.
guys.
Abortion, everybody. I'm just kidding.
We love you too, Max.
Abortion.
It'd be less
Oh
controversial.
God, you're gonna get him on sex offenders again. Nobody wants that shit. Okay, just.
Oh man. Hey George, drop in the comments below what your show's about tonight, and I'll post it on here. But guys, we got the top 5 movies you need to watch twice to really fully either understand or be completely on board with. And I know one we're gonna do in the near future. We're gonna do top 5 movies you had to watch twice to like, because I have a list of those as well. So yeah, we're going to talk about it. Coming up at 1 o'clock, we have Stacey and Gil joining us for the second half. Justin and I met Gil when we hung out with Stacey, and Dan did as well. Great guy, super nice guy, very, very fun. Took us all out to lunch, super awesome. And then Stacey Toy, you guys know she's been on here many times, and we all love her very much. So let's start with Mike. What is your number 5
All right.
film you need to watch twice?
Well, for this list, I had to really think about it because I really like this idea. It's more about like films that I felt were more show than tell. Like, I get the gist of most movies, you know, during the first sitting, and sometimes movies can't help but over-explain themselves, like Christopher Nolan movies like to over-explain themselves. But these are films where after the first sitting, I'm like, okay, I think I got an idea. I have to see it again. I'll start with my most straightforward one. This is called Wings of Desire. It's by Wim Wenders. City of Angels with Nick Cage and Meg Ryan is loosely based on this, except City of Angels sucks. Wings of Desire. It's about
poorly executed.
Yeah, it's about an angel falling in love with a trapeze artist and then becoming human, and it's filmed right before the Berlin Wall came down, and a lot of the plot is about, you know, the separation too. And so it's interesting, and I got more the romantic kind of undertones of it the first time around, but then I'm also like, okay, I got to also think about, you know, the time frame in which this was being made and who it's being made by, and a lot of it also tying into kind of the cultural aspect of there's this big divide in this particular culture, literally and figuratively. And it plays in a little bit to the characterization of the angels, and especially once once one of them becomes human. But also there's other things to love too. Great cinematography. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds are in it. So
Nice.
I'd recommend it. But yeah, it took me at least 2 viewings to kind of be like, okay, I get the romantic side of it a little bit more, but now the more esoteric kind of cultural stuff is coming through more clearly now too. So
Nice. But one thing that City of Angels gave us that the other one did not, and that is, and I'd give up forever to touch you. Like, there would have been no fun slow dances at a high school dance without Iris by Goo Goo Dolls, and that was given to us by City of Angels.
I will take Nick Cave over that any day. So.
Good God.
That's fair. But that was like the number 1 song they'd play. I think they'd play it twice at each of our school dances.
I think they'd play it like twice at each of everything. That song was freaking
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
It was very annoying. Dan, what's your number 5?
Okay, I went with movies that make absolutely no sense, and then I had to narrow that down to movies that make absolutely no sense that I like. No.
So Dan's list of 100 movies that make no sense that he likes.
Whittled down to 3.
So my number 5 is Who Killed Captain Alex, which is an Ugandan film, which I suggest everybody watch because it's amazing.
I've seen
That
some
said-
YouTube clips.
Yeah. Like okay, there's what they call a VJ describes like what they're saying and all the action to you. And I still have no clue who killed Captain Alex by the end of the movie. But it's a great film to watch. Apparently, everybody in Uganda knows kung fu, and it has a lot of action in it, and you should really watch it. Mick,
hold on.
Okay,
we're not gonna get away from this that quickly.
Okay,
I need to see what the hell you're talking about.
Oh.
Of work looks different.
Apple TV, that's great.
It looks really good for Ugandan.
We're hitting ads already.
Yeah.
There are people who like to act in Ugandan films. It's a well-known fact.
Morbius.
Yeah, we found German tourists. We cook them. You can't Bruce Lee.
What's happening?
Take mafia. Take kumenti. Muganda wange. Takala muganda wange. Bana waseta menda kubata bawaza second sabiri.
How do you find this movie, Dan? Which I'm sure I could ask you about a lot of the movies on this list.
Yeah, it's like how I find every other movie, my man. Like it's just it shows up and I watch it. It's on Tubi.
How does it show up? It's random Googling.
Fascinating. I think we got the gist.
It's on Tubi. Now, look at the ratings of that. look at the IMDb rating for it, JT.
I know 7 out of 10.
I'm sure it's great.
Wow. All right,
7
Mick,
out of 10.
Mick, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is Primer, the time travel movie.
That is on my list. It's a little higher, but let's talk about it. Actually, no, it's number 5. Yeah. Sorry.
It's a great movie. I mean, you probably have to watch it way more than twice just to fully comprehend everything that's going on in it. But I felt like that's going to be on a lot of lists, so I put it at my number 5 because it gets a little odder from there. But it was just one of those movies. Like supposedly it did everything theoretically so right that you can't really make sense of it the first time you watch it.
I've seen it like 6 times, and I still have no idea what the hell. I know they're going like through time and things are changing, but I don't know what's happening. But I like the movie, obviously. I keep going back and watching it.
Oh, well done. Indie film from back in the day about time travel. That's it. All I got.
That's all I got.
You want me to pitch the movie some more? Watch it.
Yeah.
I think it's me, right?
Max.
Yep.
Oh, Jason.
Wait, what?
Okay, so my list of 5 isn't necessarily movies that are like hard to understand. That's why you watch them twice, or necessarily movies that are good that you should watch twice. These are movies that, like, when I watched the first time, or some of them are just like when I watched it the first time, I'm like, there's no way that is what I saw, or like, oh, this is really good. I'm gonna go back and watch it again, and there's levels too. So like, I know there's a lot of movies that like are very like actually hard to understand, but I'm just like movies that like I went and saw twice because either I couldn't believe something, and like I had to go back and make sure, or things along that line. Being John Malkovich is my number 5. Good film. So this is in like you'll see as the list goes on. Like there's some terrible movies in here, but it was just a really interesting movie, and I didn't really like. It's funny and it's very smart, and I liked it, but I did have to go back and watch it again to kind of even feel what they were doing with the movie. I don't know if anyone else had that experience.
I haven't seen it. I want to see it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's good. Watch it twice.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Justin, what do you got?
My number 5 is 12 Monkeys. Bruce Willis. We just talked about Bruce Willis. So it was top of mind from our previous top 5 list. But I mean, it's fun watching Bruce Willis kind of go insane. Do we think he's insane? Do we think the government organization that keeps pulling him back, or if it's even a government organization or just a random sect of crazy people and just kind of following that back and trying to understand that whole movie? So it's a fun
They
one.
really did do that well. And so many TV shows have tried to copy that. Even right now, like you have Moon Knight sort of doing that.
Yeah. You're
12
totally right.
Monkeys, like nobody did it like them.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
wild.
12 Monkeys almost made my list, but since I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, I didn't want that to cloud my I didn't understand this movie thing, but I need to revisit it so bad because I remember really liking it. All right, Mike, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is the Jim Jarmusch movie Dead Man. It's a straightforward like Western, but it's like an acid Western. In other words, like it's better when you're on drugs. But it is more straightforward in terms of its story, but in terms of its themes, I always, whenever I rewatch it, I'm like, there's something always new to appreciate. Like basically the whole movie is Johnny Depp gets shot pretty early on in the movie, and it's just watching him slowly die throughout the film while he goes on a little road trip with a Native American companion. But then also there's a lot kind of talking about, you know, the spiritual side of things, and then again the cultural aspect of it and how white people treated Native Americans like shit at the time. But also it's a celebration of Native American culture as well. Like there are lines of dialogue in, I believe, Blackfoot, and there's no translation for it. And apparently like Native American audiences like love it. Like they're inside jokes for them. So it's really kind of cool. But also, like I said, I thought I got the sense of what it was about at first, and I'm like, oh, there's more layers to really appreciate upon watching it again. And also, to go along with the music thing, Neil Young does a soundtrack, so improvised.
Nice.
I'll have to check that out.
That Jason.
Yeah.
That was like the least convincing. I'll have to check that out I've ever heard in my life.
I do want to check it out. It's just when he started describing the movie, I'm like, is he talking about?
I'll have to check that out to a guy who just pitched a movie, and you're like, oh man, this guy's really smart. He like came to do this. I'm just gonna tell him I'm gonna check it out. Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I'm not putting you down. I'm not saying, hey man. I was thinking the same thing. Like, dude, this is a smart pick. I need to reconfigure my picks.
That was the most obligatory. I'm going to check that out I've ever heard in my entire life.
When he started describing it, I'm like, is he talking about the Amber Heard trial? Because you could see Johnny Depp doing the same thing. For some reason, that's been my obsession on YouTube, watching that train
for some reason
trial. Like,
which again, it's kind of weird, but that's
you're the only justice for Amber Heard that there is in this world right now.
What's that?
You're the only justice for Amber Heard hashtag that there is right now.
Everybody else is for Amber Heard trial right now.
Oh my goodness, I would not want to be anyone in that trial. Like, good.
Yeah, no. I don't want to be in trial in general. I don't want to be a jury member. I don't want to be a judge.
But oh my god, they have a clip going around YouTube of the prosecutor asking Johnny Depp the same question over and over and over again. And he's like, yeah, I already told you. It's still my signature. Yep. Third time, still my signature. Yes, it's still my signature. Dude, it's so funny. Like, it shouldn't be funny, but the trial is funny. All right. Tan, what's your number 4?
Great. I get to follow that. Awesome. Well, Mike knows what this one is. My number 4 is The Killing of Satan. Because this is a Filipino film that apparently is what they think Catholicism is, and it's amazing.
Now the question is, are they more right than most Catholics?
I don't think so.
Fun than most Catholics.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, did you just call Catholics right at all?
About being Catholic. I don't know how much to claim who's more right or less right about being
their version of Catholicism. You get lightsabers, so
yeah, very true.
So like, yeah, like
and
the Catholics
Satan,
watch this movie like, yeah.
Dan was like, I want to do top 5 Satan portrayals. I'm putting Satan on this list somewhere.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Shit, hold on. Let me redo this. Okay, so I mean, this movie makes absolutely no sense. Lando's uncle dies, and apparently he was a saint, and the guy's named Lando. No, he's not Lando Calrissian. So, I mean, so his
Is
Max?
it not Lando Calrissian or not Lando Calrissian?
That's nowhere near the weirdest part of the story, Max.
Not
Hold on.
Lando Calrissian.
So his sainthood passes down to Lando, and Lando has to fight Satan and the Prince of Magic, whose big plan is to kidnap naked women and keep them in a cage in a cave. And that's the end of that plan, apparently.
Hey, you got to keep it simple, you know.
It's like the sock gnomes of.
Yeah. And Lando has all kinds of magical powers because of his sainthood. It is great.
All right.
Sweet.
Dan and I did an extensive talk on this many years ago on a chat. So
I still want it to be Lando Calrissian.
It's not.
Your head
It's
can
okay.
do whatever you want, man.
I want many things to be Lando Calrissian, but it just doesn't happen.
There's Harrison Ford walking in, like, what's up, guys?
I wanted Two-Face to be Lando Calrissian, but he wasn't.
You keep on waiting for Harrison Ford to show up, and he doesn't, and that's how they get.
Lando's not Harrison Ford. Sorry, I screwed that up.
Yeah. What?
I'm also noticing that so far your picks are very country-specific cinema, like Uganda and then Filipinos. Like
that kind of changes.
Okay.
We're going straight Korean from here on out.
It's hard for me to find something confusing that I like because
that's what I was wondering if like the cultural aspect of it is playing into like.
I think it does.
I get it.
It's confusing because Dan doesn't turn on the subtitles. He just watches it in the other language. He doesn't know what's happening.
That might make sense.
He has to watch it again. But to check out more on this movie, go to youtube.com/Mike McGTV, and you can listen to Mike and Dan talk about it. Nice plug. That's great. Thank you. Mick.
My next one is Coherence from 2013. It's about a bunch of friends that go to a dinner party, and there's a comet passing. It's like a rare occurrence, and I don't want to give too much away about what happens, but basically there's like an interdimensional factor to it where they find themselves having a dinner party not too far away.
Oh, I've seen this. It is really fun. That's a fun movie to watch. I have.
Yeah, it's not hard to follow either, but I feel like that second time I watched it, I caught more and more as I went on.
It actually features the guy I interviewed for the first person I ever interviewed, which was Nicholas Brendan, is in this film as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice. I'm going to check that out.
Oh, my God.
He plugged himself
and
then said, I'm going to check that out. He hasn't even plugged the show that I'm on. Guest on your show. And he plugged his own interview and said, "He'll check out
his first interview."
Nice.
Not even like probably a good interview.
Do we still have that somewhere?
Yes, unfortunately, it's still out there.
Oh God! Speaking of Nicholas Brendan, though, go watch the one with the killer pinata on an island.
Oh yeah,
because that's amazing.
Watch
there you go.
Put it as a top banner too. Just have like
happy now.
The whole thing.
Oh, I didn't care if he did or not.
What is your?
I just thought it was funny.
You're right.
My number 4 is going to The Dark Knight Rises. I saw that movie. I was super stoned, and I hadn't been stoned in a while. And I watched that movie, and I was like, there's no way this movie is as terrible as I thought it was. I was just really, really stoned. Normally that works to make me like things, but since I hadn't been stoned in so long, maybe my whole brain was fucked up. I got to go watch this again. And I did. And it was worse when I was sober. And I was...
Dude, just change your caption there to say, didn't understand the assignment.
Yes.
And
I like that movie.
You have to watch The Dark Knight Rises twice to appreciate how bad it really is. Yeah, that's my number 4.
If you can ignore all the glaring plot holes, the movie's fun.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
I mean, I suppose.
It's fine.
All right.
I'm not going to defend it.
You mean to tell me we're horsing on The Dark Knight Rises as like one of the worst Batman films? There are 2 Batman films where Robin is 47 years old. We're trying to gloss over this fact. Fuck Chris O'Donnell, man.
But I never when I saw a 47-year-old Robin, I immediately understood that he was a 47-year-old Robin. Like, I'm like, okay,
playing a 12-year-old.
They got this dude to play Robin. The same way they got a freaking 78-year-old
police chief. No, sorry, no.
They got a 78-year-old to play Spider-Man. They got.
But the 40-something-year-old Robin was in a movie in which Batman was still kind of,
10 years younger
fantastical.
than him?
Well, yeah, that too, but fantastical. Whereas The Dark Knight Rises was like, we're gonna make this as realistic as a guy running around starving crime in a bat suit while some guy has a weird breather thing and the whole city cracks in half.
Obviously, you haven't watched The Batman, which is the same thing.
I have. I was gonna bring that up later on. It's the same thing, but much longer.
Your description of The Dark Knight Rises is the exact description people would use for the Batman.
Kinda.
The Riddler, like the mask thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But one works, and one you would say, hey, Academy Award nominated right here. That's going to happen. And one is like, it's the worst.
Really?
I don't think the Batman should be Academy Award nominated.
I don't care, but a lot of people love that movie like it's crazy.
I liked it a lot. But it is also a Batman film.
I kind of liked it.
Begins or The Dark Knight. So you don't really like the gritty, like realistic Batman?
I think it's fucking dumb, and here's why. Like, it's a man in a suit fighting crime
without nipples.
But it's supposed to be like the most realistic fucking gritty thing ever, and it's not. By its basic principle, it's not.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Visually inherently silly.
And to go back on the Chris O'Donnell thing, yes, watching it now, I totally agree. But when I saw it initially, I was like 12, so it didn't bother me. But no,
he was playing your age.
I'm an orphan.
He's a Bruce Wayne mechanic and maybe something else. That's all.
The second in that movie, his parents died, and Bruce stood up and was like, I'll take him in. And then the next moment when he rides his motorcycle to his mansion and it's
this
like,
guy can drink. It's like,
I'm like, this is a domestic partnership. This isn't award.
Did
like,
Batman have his parents killed?
I mean, in all fairness, Joel Schumacher went into interviews and said, "Oh, I knew what I was doing." Like he basically said, like, yeah, I know the subtext is there. It's not supposed to be subtext.
Yeah. That's why the suits have nipples, bro.
I get that. But don't make them Robin. make them with all those other Batman, the circumstances happened as they did, and I had to go see the movie again because I didn't understand what I had seen. That's that's it.
Fair.
Nice hot button issues all over the place.
I'm sorry to break it up. 45-minute Batman diatribe.
Hot button issue.
4, I think we're on.
Sorry, I get heated when I talk about NCIS Gotham.
Oh god!
Isn't that just called Gotham on Fox?
Well, I guess
doesn't everybody just like the
great
punk
Chris
chick?
O'Donnell is on NCIS Los Angeles.
Yeah.
With
LL Cool J.
Who? I'm sorry, Grandpa. I don't watch your shows.
Justin, what's your number 4?
My number 4. So it's been a minute since I watched this movie, but Donnie Darko. Just because I didn't get the thing. Like I watched. I had a girlfriend at the time when I was in high school. I think we watched 3 times. I just didn't get it. I don't understand it. I know I liked it. Like I was like, we have to watch this a lot because you like it. So it's like whatever.
He tries to add in segments from the book that what's her name, the old lady wrote to kind of make more sense about. But I'm still kind of like, that doesn't help. But okay.
I watched that movie when I was in high school, and I'm like, fuck this movie. I need to go back and rewatch it because I don't think I could have appreciated it for what it is.
It's rather heavy-handed, though. It's like, this is art.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
it was Richard Kelly's first film too, so he was it was in really try hard mode.
Yeah.
I really like S. Darko, though. I'm just kidding. I've never.
Oh God.
Oh man, if Dan's making that face, it's gotta be bad.
It's the sequel.
It's bad. It's real bad. Like if you thought Donnie Darko was kind of pretentious, oh dude.
It didn't make sense either because she's like, years ago something strange happened to my brother. I'm like, a plane engine fell on him.
Yeah, that's
That is strange.
I don't know why you into this time travel bullshit. Like a plane fell on your brother in this timeline. It's like,
all right. So my number
that is a little odd. How often does that happen?
yeah, true. True.
There has been 0 days since there's been accidents in the factory.
All right, my number 4 is Inception. Not because I didn't understand the movie at the end, and mainly because I went back and rewatched it to try to figure out how I thought the movie ended as far as awake or asleep. And I have my opinion on that, but yeah, Inception's my number 4, which is probably my favorite Nolan movie. I could watch it all the time. It made me a fan of Joseph Gordon-Levitt and reintroduced my love for Leonardo DiCaprio, and I love Elliot Page since, Juno. So, yeah. Inception. Because how does everybody think it in? Awake or asleep?
Oh, I think he's asleep.
I think he's asleep, right? Well, they don't. Yeah, I mean,
I think awake.
That's why you had to watch it 11 times.
Yeah, I feel like asleep just because I'm a pessimist. I'm like, it's probably the sad thing.
I adopted Michael Caine's reasoning for it. Him saying whatever scenes he's in, that's reality. That was his take on it. He's awake, and so I chose to choose the happy ending. He was in it, so.
Sure. I'm on the side of I don't believe it really matters. I like the ambiguity of it just because that's the whole point. He spent so much time immersed in dreams and bouncing back and forth that, he's not supposed to be fully sure.
I hope his scary yelly wife ate his soul.
Oh God.
Scary, but also smoking.
Yeah.
Aren't they always?
Number 3.
Isn't that good and bad?
My number 3 is Under the Skin.
Nice.
That's my 2.
Just because I went into this movie with next to no context about what it's about, and it just starts. It doesn't try to give you any setup, really. This is one of the penultimate show don't tell type of films because it doesn't really give you the setup that she is this extraterrestrial type of being or anything like that. You kind of have to piece that together, and then as the movie goes on, you're kind of like, okay, she just kind of wanders throughout these cities and does her thing, and there are some pretty trippy visuals and horrific things to see, but upon subsequent rewatches, I was like, okay, I'm getting this a little bit more, and I came to sympathize a lot more with her in the film.
Yeah, especially at the end, she's learning more about being a human and so forth. But
the ending wrecks me. I'm just like, this is, man.
This is my number 2. I'm gonna call it my number 3 just because that's the round we're on.
Sorry.
But, no, I love this movie too, and I remember watching it the first time. I'm like, what? And the guy in me is like, yeah, Scarlett Johansson, she's beautiful. I'm going to keep watching. And then I got to the end. I really loved it. And I wanted to watch it again I don't even know why I wanted to watch it again, but I did.
That was one of the expectations that they subverted in the film that works. It's like, oh, yeah, attractive lady. But then, stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, Dan, what's your number 3?
Hey, Max. Did you know that your favorite Cronenberg film has a semi-sequel remake?
Does it?
It's called Existence, and it's interesting.
I heard it's good.
Really interesting.
No.
It's about a video game that sucks you inside, and you're playing this game, and for some reason making guns with teeth and jawbones, and it's the whole game box has this very mushy, like fleshy feel that you plug it into yourself, and then at the end you don't even know if you're in the game or not.
Did this come out before or after The Matrix? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Around the same time?
99.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to remember now.
Yeah, but I forgot all about it until I was looking up Videodrome for something. I was like, oh yeah,
that's funny too, because like you guys just mentioned the Matrix. Because Dan's movie that reminds me of the Matrix is this thing, and I actually have the Matrix on my list in this spot. So like I don't know, I feel like that's very interesting. There's something weird there.
I've been wanting to see this, and every time I like think about it, I can never remember the title.
Nah, I can't do this. This guy is too much for me. Like that, no.
Videodrome was close to making it to my list because the whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
Videodrome's amazing.
Watch Crash, Max. You'll like Crash.
Oh yeah, watch Spider. Actually, it's very normal.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Have you seen a oh shit what's it called? The one where the guys in the bar and then the mobsters come in and they
Roadhouse.
No.
The
Irishman. No,
I don't know. I'm too old for that one.
Jean-Claude Van Damme movies.
Oh god,
I'm still going.
What was that, Mike?
Viggo Mortensen, History of Violence.
Yeah, yes, that one.
Yeah, that's good.
That was Cronenberg too, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on a comic book.
There you go. See, he can do more normal things without chest vaginas. It's fine.
I'm curious, Dan. Are you looking forward to his Crimes of the Future coming out?
Yes.
Soon? Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
Anything that he makes, I'll happily watch.
Wasn't he involved with the Thing? Cronenberg?
No, I don't think so.
I'm thinking of something else.
You're thinking something else.
All right, Mick. What is your number 3?
Number 3 is Mr. Nobody from 2009, starring Jared Leto. So it's about it starts out with a boy whose parents are breaking up, and like his mother's leaving on a train, and he can choose to go with her or run back and stay with his father. And it follows the timelines of all those choices starting there. And you follow that throughout his entire life and like how it all kind of plays out. So you see how it goes when he chooses his mother, see how it goes when he chooses his father. He meets different girls on different versions, and like what those marriages would be like, what those having kids with them would be like. It's really trippy. It's hard to follow because there's a lot of timelines. So you got to watch it a couple of times, but once you get there and like you follow everything, it's really well told story.
All right, I'm gonna check that out.
Well, don't all speak on this podcast at once.
I'm just saying, I've never watched it, but it sounds sweet.
I'll check it out.
Because I've seen the promotional image of Leto in Mr. Nobody, but I had never heard anything about the actual story, so I'm like, huh, okay.
Yeah, it's a weird like sci-fi type of tale, but it's really well told. It's I put it on the same plane as like as Primer.
That definitely sells me. I can't wait to check it out.
That definitely sells me. It's so flat.
That is my seal of truth.
Like, to watch this movie.
That's just what I say. I'm excited to watch everything, Justin. I like watching everything. Like if I pulled up my Hulu right now, you would take me somewhere for addiction, because like I was flipping through my Hulu, I'm like seen it. So anytime somebody has something new for me, I'm very excited.
It's just like a hoarders like themed like just playlist.
This is my favorite movie.
They have a category for Jason's like the rest of the stuff. Like here's everything left.
Hallmarking things.
All right, Max, where we at?
What number are we on? 3 or 2?
3.
Oh, Matrix. My is Matrix.
Yeah. No, I remember seeing that in theaters.
Yeah, I mean, like it's good, you know, and but it's good as a few different things, and you know, like people can compare it to Tron and shit, but I'm like, it's different from Tron in that like you also get a lot of Agent Smith like towards the end, and it's like, you know, it's like it's the smell, if there is such a thing.
Yes.
Like I like that's something, you know, like you don't really think about, and you kind of you can let it go by if you know, like just watching the movie, and it's totally fine. You know, like it's just a great line, and you can let it go by. But then it's like this thing, like they never smelled anything in their life. Like they know it's as a concept, but like they like that's really interesting. So there's a lot of different stuff I think you can get from the Matrix, but Yeah, I really had to go and see it again, especially like not having a clue about the movie walking into it. It is easily a few things, but it's also complicated more other things. So I really like the Matrix.
I need to watch the new one.
Check that out.
Yeah.
I need to watch the new
Go
one.
check out the fourth one.
Oh, that one
You
sells it.
sold me
That
on it.
one
Or the
sells us
second
all. We'll
one.
watch the Matrix.
Yeah,
I will never watch the second one
I
again.
agree wholeheartedly.
The second one is my favorite one, actually.
Yeah, the highway scene is like tops.
It's like ambient to me, The Matrix 2. But we're not here for that. Justin, what's your number 3?
So, I think the rest of my list would be very similar to this because it's the movies I like to watch like one more time just to kind of see like, oh, he is the villain. Who is Kaiser Soze? The Usual Suspects, things like that. I like going back and like, rewatching like, oh yeah, you definitely kind of follow like what's going on. Kevin Spacey being the bad guy. Spoiler alert, but we know he's the bad guy.
What?
Yeah, good job. Good job.
God damn it, Justin.
Who is Kaiser Soze?
Kevin Spacey's a
Apparently,
bad
it's
guy?
Kevin Spacey now. Jeez.
You're welcome.
The Usual Suspects is sick. That's a really cool movie. Like as like the style. I like.
Yeah.
I like a lot.
I agree. Bryan Singer, good time.
My number 3 was the same as Mike's.
Oh, okay.
So, Mike, what is your number 2?
Yeah, number 2. Well, I was talking about this director before we started just because his new movie's out, The Northman, which I liked a lot. But second one, The Lighthouse.
I should have picked that. That's such a good pick. I love The Lighthouse.
I like this a lot. Again, it's one of those films where I kind of got the idea of it in the first sitting about like paranoia, isolation, and also about like what defines masculine behavior and things like that. I got that, but then as I saw it like the second and third times around, I'm like, there's an addiction undertone here as well. There's a little bit having to do with alcoholism and things like that, and this idea of that forlorn, archaic idea of what is supposed to constitute being a man. And I dug it quite a bit, and it is horrific as well. And I also love too, like the lighthouse. The literal and figurative lighthouse in the film, it could be many different things for many different people. Who knows what Willem Dafoe saw when he was staring right into it, and who knows what Pattinson saw when he was staring into it.
I just love watching William Dafoe go crazy. Just
Yeah.
the slow descent into like madness, if it was even slow. But it was a lot of fun to watch.
And hey, there's farting in it too, so comedy.
Willem Dafoe's face is so
Yeah, you're right.
expressive.
Yes.
Like it's really something unto itself.
Yes, William Dafoe does creepy better than Jack Nicholson does. Like in The Shining.
Yes, Willem Dafoe's twin brother, William
First
Dafoe.
frame.
Yes. William Dafoe is great.
Why you spill your beans?
I love the metal remix of him beating the bird against the rock too. It's amazing. Look it up on YouTube.
There was an interview with what's her name, Anya Taylor-Joy, who was in The Witch and who's in The Northman and stuff. And she was like, I would have loved to have been either the mermaid or the seagull in The Lighthouse. I'm like, no, you wouldn't have wanted to be the seagull.
So what are my lines?
All right, Dan, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Highlander 2: The Quickening.
Jesus.
Oh, damn.
How did you go from a Ugandan film to Highlander 2?
Oh, no.
I love this movie.
I love it too.
It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense.
I tried to rewatch it as an adult. I had to turn it off like 20 minutes in. I was like, I can't.
And I'm talking the original cut, not the Renegade thing, the one that makes absolutely no sense and doesn't care. They're from a different planet now, and they were immortal, but they're mortal. So we're gonna send some weird dudes on hover bikes, and now they're mortal again. And by the way, we shielded the sun with something, and then freaking Sam Fisher has to come back and beat him up, and it's great.
I don't know if I can figure that out, Dan.
I searched long and far to find a copy of the original, and I have it.
Our friend Amit, who's been on the show many times, he had he had his dad take him to get a video card just so he could rent the Highlander movies. So I've seen Highlander 2, 3, 4, however many there are. I've seen.
You said it was always 3.
What's that?
You said it was always part 3.
The three is what he rented the most. Yes, but he rented them all. And that's all he would rent. That's all he would watch is Highlander. All
it's important to be consistent, Mike.
We go to the video store. I'm like, apparently. He's like, I don't know. Let's go look, and then it'd be Highlander. So, Nick, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is Enemy by Denis Villeneuve. It's a Jake Gyllenhaal film where he plays a history teacher. He's kind of like down and out, like just isn't enjoying life, and he sees himself in a movie. So he searches out the actor, and the whole movie is very odd in how to do it. He plays a character, Adam, I think is his name, and the guy's name is Anthony or something like that. They're both A names, I know that. And it's a weird movie. It really is, but it's so well done. And it's going to take you probably more than 2 watches to really fully understand it, because there's this whole spiders angle to it. It's all about identity and trying to figure out who you are as you're kind of coming to grips with who you are, in life and the new type of person you're becoming with age and stuff like that. It's odd, but it's really well done, and it's definitely worth a watch. Well, 2 watches, trust me. Okay, again, I really love that you guys.
Because you left us speechless. I'm like, oh my god!
It's just a podcast. You can't be speechless.
Wow.
Say anything. Like, hey,
we're just gonna stare at Mick for a minute.
Mick, I'm sorry I can't stay for the full time, but I was really curious what your thoughts are on the very ending of it.
That ending has made me watch this movie at least 5 times, not twice, because I had to figure it out. I in depth went online and was just trying to research, like, what did this mean? Like, what is this? What is happening?
Spider
and bad filmmaking at that
point. Terrifying ending that has you did not see coming whatsoever.
Enemy spider to help me figure out.
It's so hard to figure it out, yeah. But it's
quite the web.
Yeah,
it's like my favorite genre of YouTube videos is the ending of whatever the hell movie you just watched. Explained. It's like if you need that explained, then either A, you're dumb, or the filmmaker didn't do their job.
Shut up. I was so glad to find out how Ace Ventura finally ended. Like, I finally
what does laces out mean?
It's too much back guano. Too much back guano.
Have they ever done there's a third Ace Ventura movie?
I did not.
Yeah.
Ace Ventura Jr.
It's bad.
It's terrible.
It's real bad.
I worked on it. That's not bad. And every day was just like, why am I here?
Oh, that's brutal. Right, so you knew going through it wasn't going to be great. That's rough.
Mike, what were you saying?
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, have they ever made a video for, like, a Jodorowsky movie or anything like that? Like, where you basically be like, the ending explained, you really don't want to know. Because, I mean,
if you didn't understand, be thankful and move on.
Max, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is going to go to. Let me consult my list here.
No book of Bangkok.
The original Transformers movie. Had to go back and watch that train wreck again.
You really didn't understand the assignment.
Again,
it is kind of glorious, though. I'll give it that.
Like, at least Dan's choices, all of them sort of make sense. Yours is like it's Transformers.
Do they?
I did not want to watch that again after watching it.
I was so amazed. I was like, no way. There's no way that's what they did.
There's no way that's what they did. Just revisiting.
I don't know, man. The first Transformers looks like an Oscar pick compared to everything.
It gets worse. It gets worse. But I had learned my lesson by Transformers 2.
But what about a dinosaur and a sword? This'll work.
We're fine. We're fine. A giant robot rides a dinosaur with a sword. It's fine. It's totally cool.
So,
but,
I kind of for some reason the signal got mixed up here in my brain. The first original animated Transformers movie or the first Michael Bay one?
The Michael Bay one.
The animated one is amazing.
Oh god, no! The animated one I couldn't watch again for fucking months because I was so traumatized after watching it the first time.
Okay, I was just wondering because like I got what was
They
going
killed
on.
Optimus Prime, bro.
They had to show you they had stakes.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is. Sorry, your phone distracted me. Fight Club.
Yeah.
Just because I enjoyed kind of going back and like once you know like the kind of twist at the end, it's like, oh, this makes a lot more sense to me. So it was fun to rewatch it.
Yeah, I have quite a few movies like that. I like to go back and like Saw 1. I like to go back and see like.
Yeah. Saw's on my list too. I mean, I don't have a lot of like esoteric or out there movies, so I was like, Fight Club's one of the ones I always go back to, find something new about it. That's like, oh, I didn't catch that before.
It's fun when you can do that. Like Sixth Sense was one. I haven't watched it more than twice, I think, in my lifetime. But going back and watching it the second time and trying to pick up on everything that led up to the ending, I really liked. I'm not going to spoil the Sixth Sense for everybody. Calm down.
That kind of movie just kind of ruins itself by what kind of movie it is. Like, you know, like you can't go and watch it again and be like, oh yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, that's also like,
you know?
like anything where like, oh, the cat's out of the bag. Like once it's out of the bag, it's out of the bag. Like
There is the Jason. There, I do agree with Jason. Like there is the novelty of going back, you know, initially and being like, oh, okay, now this makes a lot more sense, or oh, I've never noticed that before because
I enjoy that a lot. I enjoy doing that a lot.
But yeah, like Sixth Sense, I haven't had the urge to go back. I watched it like I think 3 times in my life, and
that's enough.
That's enough. Yeah.
I wanted to show it to Tony, but Tony's like Sixth Sense. He's dead at the end. I did end up spoiling.
Yeah, that movie's been played out.
Oh, thanks. Good job, buddy.
It's been spoiled. It's okay.
Ingrained in pop.
Yeah, it was spoiled for me the first time I watched it, so I didn't have to. Like,
that makes it so much worse. That's unfortunate because the first viewing is actually good. Everything else is kind of.
Yeah, like that's what you can say about dude's career too.
Oh,
dang, that's fine.
My number 2 is Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me, which was my first introduction to David Lynch, which is why I chose this one over the rest. I still don't understand the scene where he's looking at the video camera footage. Like, I don't know what it is that he sees there or what he's looking for. When
the closed circuit when David Bowie's walking through, you mean?
Yeah.
And you know, everybody that went back and watched the new Twin Peaks that had only seen the show, hadn't seen Fire Walk with Me, they were like, "What is this?" And
Yeah,
it's like, you don't. This is a studio that gave David Lynch money to do whatever he wanted with it, and you got Twin Peaks the event, and I freaking love that too. But no, I love Fire Walk with Me, and I've had to watch it a few times to fully understand what I'm watching.
It's funny that like because I picked a David Lynch film for my first one as well, but Fire Walk with Me being your number 1 out of all the David Lynch
Number
movies, 2, or your number 2 out of all your David Lynch movies confounds me.
But just because it's the first one I saw, and it's the first one I just wanted to talk about Twin Peaks.
It's the most straightforward David Lynch there is. Like you just kind of get it.
No, and I would say Elephant Man is the most straightforward David Lynch movie, other than the beginning with the elephants fucking. Like,
elephant.
Once you get past that,
maybe Dune.
No, that movie sucks.
Yeah, doesn't know.
It comes with a glossary though.
Yeah,
so it is relatively straightforward.
That's one you shouldn't even watch once, let alone twice.
No, you should watch that 1,000,000 times.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, what is your number 1?
Well, you mentioned it. David Lynch was one of my number 1 picks. It might even be. We might even have the same pick, Mick. I'm not sure, but my introduction to Lynch was through Twin Peaks and Fire Walk with Me, and so I'm like, okay, I'm interested to see what else that he's done, and everything else I'm like, I get the gist of, and this is the one that I've come back to more frequently. Like, I'm getting more and more about this all the time.
Nice.
Do you want me to hang on to it until we get to you, or?
No, it's not Eraserhead. So, but that's
Eraserhead. Okay, cool. Eraserhead is when I first saw it, like, and this is after I'd seen Twin Peaks and Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Even then, I was still like, wow, this is really dark and morbid, but I have no clue what's taking place. And then, as I watched it more and more, I'm like, okay, I get what he's doing now, because there is a story there. It's a story about someone who's not ready for parenthood, It's a story about, basically having to rely on the barest of resources for yourself in a difficult situation, in a difficult setting, and not succeeding in it. It's about flights of fancy and refusing to kind of give in to reality. Girl in the radiator, essentially. And I'm like, okay, I get this now. At first I was very much like, it's a funny movie too. Like there are some funny things in this movie, but it's so strange and so surreal and bizarre. And I'm like, what is this about? Like, what am I supposed to ultimately take away from this? And then it wasn't until like the second viewing or so that I really started to settle into it and be like,
it was like episode 9 of the Twin Peaks reboot, where it's just like first 12 minutes is a guy sweeping the bar and listening to like Nine Inch Nails. I had somebody in the house with me watching it, and I'm like, wait till you see Twin Peaks, it's gonna be fantastic. And that's the first one they saw, and then it goes into like a whole black and white montage with like no dialogue. And Lynch. I love it.
And also this was Lynch right out of the gate too, so it was just like set the whole career up.
He was almost going to do Return of the Jedi, which would have been fascinating. Dan, what is your number 1?
My number 1 happens to be my favorite horror movie of all time, Lucio Fulci's The Beyond, because it does have a story, but the first time you watch it, it's just batshit insane. You got, I don't know, this lady gets a hotel in which there are ghosts. And it happens to be on the one of the 3 gates to hell, and then 7 gates to hell. Sorry, the American butchered version was 7 doors of death. So, but anyway, there's a plumber that shows up and gets his eyes plucked out. Some construction dude gets his face eaten by spiders. Some little girl goes blind after her mom gets acid poured on her face, and then there's zombies, and then they end up in a painting, and that's the end.
I've seen that. You made me watch it for Freddy Geeks. I agree. I have no idea what I watched.
I love this movie though, because it's not about the story; it's about how he makes the setting and you feel while watching it.
Nice, Mick. What is your number 1?
Number 1 for me. So Mike and you were right. Like with David Lynch, it's hard to make a list like this and not put all David Lynch movies.
Right.
But and Eraserhead was almost on there. But I substituted out for this one because this one is just like so weird because it just changes. It shifts to a completely different movie halfway through. Lost Highway.
Oh, nice.
It's such an odd movie about a man who's he's a musician. It's all about egos and dealing with egos and things like that. And I never understood it the first time. It took like a few times and like kind of doing research to kind of understand this. But Bill Pullman playing a man who, adores his wife, is in love with her. It's played by Patricia Arquette. Mm-hmm. And then, but he's older. He's kind of dealing with things, life like that. And then, hello, okay, why are you showing me that?
Would you like to see the best dad in the galaxy?
Yes.
Do you want to see more?
To see more.
So, it's like the way it plays out. He's framed for killing his wife, goes to jail, and he transforms into a younger, not himself, but a young man who gets out. He's a mechanic. He's very sexual. It's everything that he wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And the whole story shifts into this guy having an affair with the mobster's wife, and it all turns around. But it's at the base of it, it's all about a man's ego and sex and things like that. It's weird. You're just gonna take your time to figure it out and watch it a few times. But
it's a trip.
Bill Pullman.
And has a real killer in it.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, how do you feel about it now that there's a actual legit murderer in the cast?
Real guy who killed his wife.
But the best part about Lost Highway is that it introduced the rest of the world to Rammstein.
It did.
That soundtrack was awesome. Yes. It's not even like my particular genre of music, but I freaking love that soundtrack.
And you got a bunch of punks singing Hirate Mesh, thinking it's something awesome when it means marry me. So,
Max, what is your number 1?
My number 1 goes to Pulp Fiction.
Hey.
I almost made my list.
Yeah, cool movie. All the timelines are kind of a little bit off, so like that took it's a kind of a shift for some people to understand, but like there's just so much in that movie that's like it's very quotable, and there's like you want to really focus on each of the stories like by themselves and all the stuff's going on. So it's just a real cool movie. I had to watch it twice and definitely enjoyed it every time I've seen it since then.
All right, Justin, what is your number one?
My number one was The Shining, and mainly because I was watching Room 237, like, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I was like, you know what? I mean, there's probably a lot of rewatching available.
Yeah, Justin watching goes, the moon landing was fake.
Yeah. Oh my God, Apollo sweater.
That Charlie Day image from It's Always Sunny with all the.
That's a good pick, man. My number one is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Right.
Mainly because going back the second time, I really got to catch on that we were looking at the evolution of life and humanity and just where we were to where we are now and where we're going to be. I love that movie. That movie is fantastic. And
a giant space baby.
Did you hear the explanation, the recordings they put out of Stanley Kubrick explaining the end?
No.
It's really well done. Like how he's in a zoo. To aliens, it's a zoo to watch his whole lifeline, and to where they will eventually evolve into something different than humans.
That's cool.
That's fantastic.
I thought that was a pretty cool explanation.
Yeah, that's good. Great.
All right, everybody. I'm going to throw it to a quick 10-second break, and then on the other side, we will be joined by Stacey and Gil, and then we'll see you guys in just a few seconds.
Hello, citizens. I'm Burt Ward, Robin from the TV series Batman, and you're listening and watching the Three Geeks podcast. And it is fantastic. Wowie zowie. To the Batmobile.
And we're back
cool.
with two of my favorite people, Stacey and Gil. How you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
Fantastic.
I was on. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. I was actually on the Comic Book Men with Burt Ward on the last season of Comic Book Men, the show that he did like the. He went on and like the animals like were dressed as different superheroes, and the Comic Book Men and Burt Ward, and so we were like the family that they called in to have like the 3 small rows of people to just cheer on. And you saw a bunch of my close-ups with me and my youngest son, and he was so nice, and he signed pictures for my youngest son, which like he has no idea at that point in time. I'm like, it's the Wonder Boy, or Boy Wonder, all that stuff. And he's like, oh, I don't know, but he's starting to appreciate comic books more as he gets older. But yeah, so we were on that one. So if you go on Amazon and Netflix and all that jazz, you can find it and you'll see my face.
Gil, how have you been over the last year?
Doing good, buddy. Doing good. It's just working and having fun.
Yeah, you guys have been doing quite a few things this year.
Yeah, awesome.
Let's start with the CBD because I tried it and it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, the Delta 8s.
Yeah,
liked them.
Oh my God, I had one of the best naps ever.
Right?
My sister had been super stressed, and I'm not supposed to talk to this, but nobody she knows is going to watch this. So I gave her half of a Delta 8, and she finally smiled and laughed for like the first time in 2 weeks. And then after 30 minutes at Easter dinner, she went and took a really long nap. So I did cut her Easter short, but
that's okay.
It's a good thing sometimes.
She was happy, right? That's the point. That's the point. I'm so glad that you like them. You could go to nanosolpro.com and use the promo code FanRoom20 and get 20% off right now. We also have the discounts where you could buy 5 bags, or you could buy 2, get 1 for $10. So there's a bunch of stuff going on. So nanosolpro.com. We're also sponsoring the Fan Room this weekend. Nanosol Pro is sponsoring the Fan Room this weekend with Lamar Odom, which I'm super excited about. The show, fanroomlive.com, if you want to get tickets to join us. But it'll be fun and exciting, too. So,
are you guys in Florida?
Hi, everybody. I see you over there. And I thank you, Black and Miss Prime at 3 Geeks, for spelling my name right with the E. Thank you.
Are you guys down in Florida now?
Yes. See the background? Isn't it pretty?
That's very pretty.
Awesome. Now, I know one of your new passions is NFTs. And as somebody who doesn't fully understand it, so like Snoop just recently pulled all the Death Row catalog off, and he's going to make them all NFTs, like an NFT record label. What does that mean? Like, where can I go to listen to Doggy Style?
And notes too.
Right. Well,
Wow.
you can go to. He has something going on with Google, not Google, Gala Music,
yeah,
which is connected with the Gala network and blockchain and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it works. That their theory is very interesting. So it's basically like an Apple Music type thing. Okay. But now let's say you want to listen to a song that's not on your playlist. So you should search it. So what the system does is searches everybody's playlist. And when it finds the song, it'll let you hear it. But now you're going to make some gala money out of that by listening to the song. The song holder is going to make money by letting you listen to the song. And what communicates this to is something called a node. Okay. It's in the middle there that does all the searching. And the node gets 35% of whatever the total payout is. The artist gets 50% of the total payout. So everybody gets paid. You know, to listen to music, which is great. And it's a platform that you're not going to need a record label to be able to release your music.
But word on the street is that Death Row is coming out with its own nodes come this fall. So I guess we're going to stay tuned for all of that. But again, that's kind of like the future of music, I think, where I see it going. I don't know about you, but it's like now you can listen to music and make money at the same time. Like literally having one of these nodes, you're going to make money on every single time somebody listens to a song. So just imagine Apple Music, and then you get 35%, you know, of just everybody listening to music.
Well, yeah, it's not really like that, but yes, it's more like whatever work your node did out of the whole database, you get paid for it. So every time, you know, so a node is something that you can buy. Okay, it's an asset. In basically from what a node does is searches, gathers, saves, and shares information. That's the action of a node. It's an old computer programs that we have had since, you know, DOS, for example, right? So this is the same thing. The only difference is that you can actually buy the node itself or a license to the node. So then when you bought the license, every revenue that node makes by doing a job, by doing a query, right, you get paid. And people make a very good passive income out of it.
I mean, it sounds like a good opportunity for almost independent artists, right? Because I've always heard some friends of mine that have stuff on Spotify, like they don't get paid anything really from Spotify. So something like that is an opportunity for them to make some cash. It sounds like.
Exactly, because the way the songs are coming out, they're coming out in a form of an NFT. So if you didn't buy the NFT for that record, you don't have it on your playlist.
And Snoop has his stuff, I believe, on Sandbox right now, which is what
that's his metaverse.
Well, yeah, and that's where like he has a home, and I mean the neighbor bought a virtual, you know, house next to Snoop Dogg's virtual house in the Sandbox for $450,000. So it's like there's also money to be had there in virtual real estate, which again is just an NFT. Everything
which is a lot.
NFT.
Virtual real estate, virtual cars, virtual clothes, you name
artwork. I mean, literally farts. People have made over $200,000 on NFT farts. Look it up.
So help me understand. Maybe I'm not understanding right. But so the independent, like if I have a song, make an NFT of a song, does that mean like Jason and myself can buy that same NFT? Like is it like a one-to-many type of relationship?
And all different kinds of ways too. Like for example, the Nas one, that Nas, the rap artist, he just dropped one in January because we tried to get some. I mean, it was sold out in like less than 4 minutes, and he did 2 different songs at 2 different times. So many people came to the website that it crashed and they had to postpone it for 10 days. But essentially it was 3 tiers, and each tier gave you a certain percentage of the royalties for the streaming for that song, because he gave 50% of each one of the songs up for people to buy as NFTs. And so there was like 400 of, you know, this one, 200 of this one, but then that's it. So even the ones that people, you know, went to purchase for, I guess it was like $5,000 was one of the tiers. Now they're being resold for like $48,000 as NFTs. I mean, because they're figure with, you could talk about the streaming last year. That was like 11 million. Yeah. It was 11 million. So what was like the breakdown of the payouts?
Yeah. One was like, a little bit less than 1.5%. That was like $200 for that one.
Mhm.
The $500 one was giving you, I want to say, like 1.875. So 1 point, almost 2%. And for 500, and the third one was 4,000. Basically, it was 4,500 almost. And that one gave you like 2.5%.
But then the payouts for that one, just based off of the revenue,
much higher,
last
right?
year,
Yeah. So the more of your initial investment, the higher your return.
Right. So if you look at it, the $200 investment will give you passive income. If he made 11 million streaming that song this year, it would be something like about $4,500 to $5,000 for the year.
for 250
for a
bucks.
$200.
It's great. It's a great exchange. Yeah.
The 500 was giving you between like 11 to 12,000.
That's awesome.
And the $5,000 one, the $4,500 one, was giving you like 44,000 a year. So by engaging into their own like royalties, is going to create a bigger attraction. But yes, I believe the music industry is totally going to be going into the blockchain. Being able to produce without a record label or without being to be tied into a record label, have 100% say on your money and on your art.
Well,
I
that's
think
our
everybody's
clients.
going to go there.
And that's really what our clients, like we have, some A-list clients that we're going to be coming out with, and it has to do with music and whatnot. We're also working alongside in, various different ways with Mint Songs on OpenSea. If you look up Mint Songs, they've been in business now for about 1.5 years, and they're one of the biggest. They have like over 1,700 artists, and it is like indie artists and people. And I know because we're working with them, that the artist makes like 95% of the money back on that platform, and it's like the #1 music platform on OpenSea. So like just speaking with the music that you're asking about, check out Mint Songs for sure. They're great people to work with. And that's where I found too, for indie artists, like people that don't have the big name and all that stuff. That's still one because they still have the marketing. They have the whole marketplace, and it is one of the #1 first songs on OpenSea for indie artists.
Yeah, about Filmio.
And Filmio is for, we've been working with them. It's film.io. And I love the people that have come up with this. It's the only real, they call DAO, which is, a different kind of decentralized autonomous organization, if you will, a DAO. And it's the only one in the film industry. And we've been doing some stuff because we're going to be we are partnering with Kevin Smith's film festival coming up in August, which I'm excited about. And we're doing it with Filmio because we're going to be doing the NFT part of things. And Filmio is on the blockchain. But if you go to it, like you get tokens, and it's almost like a Kickstarter, but not a Kickstarter, but it's still ways for people to make money. It's a distribution platform that's on the, on the blockchain, but they also have ins with other bigger, like film festivals across the world and everything. So it's a really cool new platform that we're all getting out there. But again, we're doing some work with them because we're going to be at Kevin Smith's very first film festival in August, which you could submit your film still for at Smart Castle. We're excited about that. So that's where we met, Jason. All of us.
Right. Yeah, it was great.
That is true.
Yes.
But and it's also a place where it allows you to be able to raise your funds.
Yes, for your
because everybody that belongs to it, you buy tokens to be able to do anything on it, right? So you can easily invest $5 worth of tokens. You can invest 5,000. And that's their goal, is to have the independents be able to raise money and put their films out there and their series out there and stuff for people to be able to see.
And you can watch them on there too, and give like a token if you like it, like, okay, here you go. I liked it, so I'll just throw you 1 token, which could just be like 50 cents worth of your time. But in the payout, it all works together with, the ads and everything else to kind of help build and NFTs.
And you're dealing with the whole world, not just the US. So,
yes. Right, yeah.
It's
a global economy.
Right. Anybody that has a computer or a cell phone is able to get there. So
I guess the whole theme of everything is networking. I mean, we're working together with other different companies, and everybody is like we're all getting along. Nobody hates each other. I mean, And you can still hate each other, but the point is like you got to work together, and that's how you succeed. I feel.
Yeah, that works for anything, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is there a coin? Is it like Ethereum, that kind of coin? Like, is it like on the blockchain type of coin, like transactional like that, or is it not? Do you know what I mean?
It could be. It could be any coin that you want it to be, essentially. Like when you do put an NFT out on the blockchain, you can choose how you want it.
Oh, okay. So it could be fiat or it could be just any coin. I gotcha.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And just, to make it simple, just look at the coins as different currencies, guys.
Sure.
So so whenever somebody says a coin, it's just another currency. The same thing as Bitcoin, same thing as Ethereum,
Yes.
And so there's not a specific coin, it's just a coin. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Bitcoin or an Ethereum or whatever.
And coin is like the cryptocurrency. Token is like NFTs, which is more of an asset. So a coin and a token are two different things, even though they sound the same.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now, for somebody that's like me and has no idea like what's happening, but how would I get the cryptocurrency? Like, how would I turn cash into cryptocurrency? Is that a thing? Can you do that?
Yeah, you could do it on PayPal. You could do it on Venmo. You could do it on Cash App.
There's Coinbase too. I don't know.
Coinbase is good. Is the best, I feel.
Well, as long as you're reputable at the moment.
It is reputable, but as long as your bank that you link it up to does support cryptocurrency. That's another thing you have to watch, because banks that don't, they will deny all of your transactions for your money to go in there. So there's only like a handful that don't. Everybody seems to be getting on board, but the ones that aren't, like, they will deny it, because even just getting like the bank account for our NFT company was he can attest to that. That was fun. I'm sure.
No, it was ridiculous. Like PNC does not support crypto whatsoever. They'll even cancel your account. Which is, I think, totally ridiculous. They're going up against the stream here. The best one out there that don't care and supports it is Bank of America. That's that, and they're smart because they're actually getting in the crypto market. And starting to put their own name out there, when all the other facilities are trying to shy away from it. And decentralization, at the end of the day, that's usually wins.
I mean, President Biden even said, signed 2 weeks ago that they were going to look into a national cryptocurrency for the country, which over 100 other countries are currently doing at the moment. So it seems like really biting your nose off to spite your face a little bit, if you ask me.
Well, it's giving up control of a monopoly. That's just how it is. I get it,
but sometimes you just got to do it. If the country is going to go cryptocurrency, then what are you going to do? Like,
right, exactly.
So
cool.
I'm learning so much because I've been so curious, because I've been hearing stuff about Death Row, and I heard Kevin Smith's next movie is coming out as an NFT, and I want to be involved in this stuff. I know Eminem is now doing NFTs too, and I'm a huge fan. I'd like to be able to support. I never really understood how to get there.
So OpenSea, I think, is the easiest one.
And it's one of the major ones. Now there's a whole bunch, platforms, right? But OpenSea is the most popular one and easiest to navigate. Usually if somebody has a someplace else than OpenSea, they'll usually market the name, because the average user is going to go to OpenSea usually.
And really, I mean, like even the Nas drop, when we did that, he had his one wallet, and it was not OpenSea. I was on a platform of Royal. It was called Royal.io. Which they're great now, but again, like their whole website crashed. So there was a lot of different things, but then the phishing that got into and took a couple grand, from your wallet, because that can happen on the unreputable platforms. So that's why even we stick to OpenSea, because it can handle the amount of volume when, like, most of our clients are celebrity based. So when things come out, we're going to need, just like Nas, to be able to handle, all around the world, people coming all at once for the drop. And then we also want to make sure that people don't get their money stolen, because it really is a pain in the ass to go through the whole process. But I mean, you don't even notice it. We like until he went in and looked, because it was 10 days later and we're getting ready for the actual drop, because the first drop, you know, everything crashed. And then we go in and it's like, wait, how did we have like 800,000 transactions happen? 800,000,
Yes.
like a hacker got it. But like they can fish your things on those irreputable sites. So just from personal experience, take our word for it. Or don't.
Or you can just Google like every Bitcoin scam ever, right? People like lift and shift whole wallets, like whole like there's guys running with billions of dollars. Yeah.
Whole wallet. The only reason why it stopped is because there wasn't enough to mint anymore. There wasn't enough funds in there.
Gosh.
Exactly.
So and it's all like little things. So like they'll buy like little NFTs all over the place and then resell everything, so it doesn't even look like anything.
Yeah, they start with like a couple bucks and then realize you're not noticing, and then they start taking more and more and more, and then
but then figure like when you got to go into PayPal and do each thing for every transactions, and there's 800,000 of them. Like you're just like, oh my god, they're all like 17 cents or $17. Like that's when you start at. You know?
Yeah, right.
But literally, it's a couple grand, so you know you got to start.
Yeah, we got to do it. Yeah.
So just don't do that.
You're managing now too, Stacey, right?
Managing what?
Like Pyro.
Oh yes, I've been helping out Pyro for years now. I mean, he's been such a, you know, me and him met out at Stanley's LA Comic-Con, like I said, probably about like maybe 10 years ago or something. And he was just getting into the YouTube world, and, you know, he became a big YouTuber and was going to the YouTube house out in LA. And I mean, he's still doing really great, and I'm super stoked for him. And he just got a couple of like clothing line deals for modeling. So he'll be doing, you know, some stuff, and he's got some more music coming out. But if you do check out his music on like Apple Music and Spotify, you'll notice the intro and the outro is featuring Stacey Toy. I'm on a gangster rap record from Compton. I have made it, you know. I'm working with Death Row. I'm on like a rap album. Like this is like, I'm living the dream.
That is awesome. Like, what else have you guys been up to? I see you guys on Facebook like everywhere. Seems like you're everywhere. A new place every week.
Yeah, it looks like that. No, we are like.
It looks like that. Yeah.
We've been up, you know, back
everywhere.
And forth because we're in Florida and in Pennsylvania, so we're back and forth all the time.
New Jersey.
And New Jersey. So we're all over the place. And then I just got LASIK, so I could see you guys so clearly.
Hey, high def.
Beautiful people.
My question, Stacey, is: do you sleep? Because I'll like ask you a question and I'll get a response at 5 a.m. and you'll ask me a question and I will respond at 7 and you'll text me right back. I'm like, is this woman ever asleep? Like seriously.
Yeah. I wish I could. I really do. Like even when I take like prescribed sleeping pills, like I'm still up at like 3 a.m. I don't know, working in the news business and like being accustomed to being up, I think every day at like, you know, 2 a.m. and 3 a.m, like even though I've been out of the news business now for probably 7 years, like it's still, I wake up every day and I'm up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's annoying. Trust me.
It sounds brutal.
What about you, Gil? Do you sleep?
I sleep very well. Yes.
That's fine.
Not a problem with sleeping now.
Yeah, but the Delta 8s definitely help. I'm just getting tolerable to them because, you know, I've been like, you know, it's research. Sure. You got to do research on all your products, right? So.
Yes, 100%. What else? Do you guys have anything else you want to promote or talk about?
Well, we're going to be dropping the date in like a week or so, but we're going to be releasing some what?
Veronica.
Well, it's like
cover.
Yeah, they're old like 1920s and 30s magazine covers as a trading card set. We're working with Rusty Gilligan, he's been in the comic industry since like 1978, working with Marvel and DC, and he has the rights to these really iconic and cool old magazine covers. And some of them are like the golden age erotica, if you call them, then when they used to like at least put like, you know, you could see a lot more than you could. Yeah, and actual boobs on some of them too. But they're old, like they look like the painting, you know, like the old, because it has to be, you know, 1920s. It's like Pep magazine, Spicy Mystery magazine. Like some of them are cool.
Right.
But there's going to be a series of 30.
Series of 30.
Series of 30. And we're going to be dropping those on our OpenSea account. So you got to follow at NFT Drop LLC on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter. We're all over the place, or at Stacey Toy and at Gil Laredo, which you can spell right here on what's our name. And we'll have all the postings up for that. And then we also have Chris the Glove Taylor from Death Row. We're finishing up some stuff. He's actually finishing up, he's redoing an old music hit from his in 1980s when he first started with Death Row and Ice-T and all these guys. And he's redoing it as one of the benefits of his NFT that he's going to be releasing. That's an image from back in the 80s also. When he was on set filming his movie Breakin' with Ice-T from like 1984 or something like that. So we redid a whole bunch of stuff, one of his pictures, and he's going to be releasing a bunch of different, benefits like swag, because he also has a medical marijuana company. So even just like T-shirts, he's going to be giving away access to shows that he's DJing and also songs. But he's also doing something cool too. He's going to be giving away just a very few of them, but direct access to him as an NFT. So people in the music industry that want to be in the music industry, want to be more of a producer, you'll have X amount of time to contact him directly, like with his direct cell phone, to call him, to text him, email him, and have him as your direct access. So there's a lot of really cool stuff coming up. And we just signed with 123 Talent with the talent management company, which manages like Cedric the Entertainers, and a bunch of other people. So we have a lot of big names and people that we're currently working with, and I can't wait. And we'll definitely come back on your show to, release when all that stuff comes up. But those two, we're getting ready to pull the trigger on like at any minute. So stay tuned.
And I just wanted to add, as far as Rusty, he was the little kid on Little House on the Prairie.
Yes, he was. Okay. And
he was also, now that you got the picture back from the House on the Prairie, he was also a professional wrestler.
Yes.
Who wrestled with Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, all the guys back, Iron Sheik, all the ones in the past. Sergeant Slaughter, right? I tell you guys, he's a great guy to have on the show.
Yes.
He has so many stories, and he's been a cartoonist since 1978. I mean, he's
lived a life.
Yeah, he's been in the business for a long time. They used to refer to him as the Captain American guy.
Yes.
He used to always redo. Right, but he does a lot of redo work, like this covers, for example, is when they became digitized, and he's part of the ones that we're doing is the ones that he digitized from the old magazines, because the companies wanted them back again and stuff like that, for art.
And that's the one. That's the 30.
That's the 30 cover.
Yeah.
That we're going to be dropping of his collection.
Yes, but we'll definitely get him on your show. I mean, he's like, even for like Sony and Warner Brothers, like the Spider-Man poster that you see in all of for the movies, he did those.
That's awesome.
So like, we'll get you. He's got, like I said, he's been in the comic industry with Marvel, DC, Topps, Upper Deck, all the major players since 1978, and he's actually from my hometown in Little Square Town, Pennsylvania. And it was so funny because we met at a convention when I was promoting my horror film a few years ago, 100 Acres of Hell, now on Amazon and like 900 other platforms. I'm in marketing. I can't help it. But we're talking, and then I said something. I'm like, I'm just an old waitress from the Hamlin Diner. And he's like, the Hamlin Diner is right down that street from me. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's right down the street from me. Like literally, like this town is 8 miles long. Like, where did you come from? So we found out we lived right next to each other. That's actually happened quite a few times. Like I became friends with like Spinderella and Spinderella's brother, from Salt and Pepper, because we met, and then we go to exchange information, like phone numbers. And he says, his area code. And I'm like, that's my area code. I'm like, where are you from? And it's just so funny because we ended up, we became really good. We all became friends with the family, and I get to go to the family parties, but they're not that far away from me in little town Pennsylvania. It's so strange. The craziest people are in Northeast Pennsylvania in the Poconos. So
nice.
awesome.
I want to thank you guys for joining us. We got to get together for lunch. I mean, I'll come to Pennsylvania. I have no problem with that.
Come
it's
to
not too far from Columbus.
You're in Florida right now, though.
Or you could come to Kevin's Film Festival, since that's a couple days long, and maybe stay a night or two.
That'd be fun.
Maybe,
That'd be a lot of
yeah.
fun.
We'll
We
be
might do
there.
that. I know
That's
Justin's down for a road trip. I'm down for a road trip.
There you
Boy, down
go. There you
My
go.
daughter's down for a road trip.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And plus, Ernie's running it too. And now that y'all are friends, so
Yeah, we're chummy.
There you go.
Awesome. One more time, where can everybody find you guys?
at NFT Drop LLC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or at Stacey Toy. Don't forget the E, or else I'm never gonna get it. At Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and at Gil Laredo. But you make sure you spell it like that, because he defies all of the American language here. He's from Uruguay, and like, see the I before E except after C rule doesn't work here. So make sure you get the E before the I, because he's not from this country. So.
Wow.
Sorry, Gil.
Mouthful, I'll tell you. Holy cow. All right.
And no, I don't sleep.
Thanks so much, guys, for joining us. I can't wait to meet up in person again. So we'll definitely try to make the Kevin Smith thing work.
The same here, man. And thank you for having us on.
Yeah,
absolutely. Anytime. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
See ya.
That was fun. I learned so much, Justin.
I know. Me too.
Thanks so much. You have no idea.
We're still live, by the way. I don't know if you can.
Oh, we're still live. I know we're live. You and I aren't done with the show yet.
Oh.
All right.
We're gonna wrap.
Are we
up
kicking them out? Like,
we got to promote the Scene Snobs and stuff. I don't know. They can stick around. I don't care.
All right, we're going.
All right.
See you guys. See you
Bye,
guys.
guys. Love you guys. So much fun. But what a fun show.
Yeah. It was a good time.
Absolutely fun. Now I have answers for some of a friend of mine's NFT questions that he's been asking me, and maybe his artwork could be an NFT one day. Who knows? I would love to be a part
That's
of
probably
that.
the benefit of that NFTs, right? Anybody can put an NFT out there, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to do it, but I at least
yeah,
know
there's a
how to
learning
get
curve,
one
for sure.
now. Like I know how to acquire one, so I'm a step further. I mean, Justin's like using all this terminology, like you know this stuff. I was like, yeah.
I know enough where you read a couple of articles. That's how I know it. Like I don't know it.
You guys are speaking Japanese to me. Like I don't get it, but I get it a little bit more now. So fascinating. Please check out the Scene Snobs every Tuesday night at 9:00. Mick Manhattan and Casey are two of the best podcasters in the business. I absolutely love them and love the show. So definitely check it out. And you can find us every Sunday at 12:00 until 2 usually. I don't know who sticks around anymore after 1. Everybody just seems to leave when they want to leave. But you've always got Justin and I to finish off the show.
Consistency
so that's always a lot of fun. And I'm going to go and turn it into a tomato. Actually, no, I'm going to bed because this headache I woke up with, it needs to go away. Needs to go away really bad.
Take some of that CBD that Stacey was telling about. I bet that helps.
But I got shit to do like later. I don't want to be tired all day. I got to go to my daughter's volleyball at 6. I have enough time to take a pretty solid nap. So that is what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen. Find us every Sunday. 3 Geeks Podcast. Interviews are coming back soon, I promise. And from both of us, you guys have a great day.
See you, everybody.
Recycle your droids.